In every page of ancient history, there are beings born not only from human imagination, but from the deepest fears and the highest wisdom of past civilizations. They are not mere legends, they are symbols of power, arrogance, wisdom, and ruin. Hidden within the mist of Greek mythology stands a figure, half man and half horse, a creature living at the border between primal instinct and enlightened mind. They are known as Centaurs, guardians of the forests, savage warriors, and wise philosophers. This is the complete tale of the origin, wars, wisdom, and destiny of the Centaur, the legendary beings who walk between two worlds.
Our story begins with sin, with a desire that crossed the sacred boundary. It begins with Ixion, a mortal king, welcomed into the banquet of the gods upon Mount Olympus. Enchanted by the beauty of Hera, queen of the heavens, he dared to attempt deceit. But Zeus, knowing his treachery, crafted a cloud in Hera's image, a phantom called Nephele. From Ixion's union with Nephele was born Centaurus, and from him, mingling with mares upon the fields of Thessaly, came the race of Centaurs. Human in their upper body, but with the strength and limbs of horses below. They were not born as a deliberate creation, but as a consequence of lust, betrayal, and nature's untamed force. And from this origin, the Centaurs began their own wild civilization, unbound by the laws of gods or men.
The life of a centaur is a life divided, not fully human, not fully beast. They roamed the thick forests and rocky mountains of Thessaly and Arcadia, living in complete freedom. The horse within them burned with wild instinct, adventure, and untamed passion. They hunted, they galloped across meadows, and they fought with ferocity. Yet the human within them carried reason, philosophy, and the desire for knowledge. In Centaur society, two paths emerged. One was the path of chaos, wild centaurs who drank heavily, fought fiercely, and surrendered to instinct. The other was the path of wisdom, noble centaurs who studied the stars, healed the wounded, and taught mankind. This eternal division became their defining struggle, the battle between the beast within and the human spirit that longed for mastery.
The turning point came at the wedding of Pirithous, king of the Lapiths, to his bride Hippodamia. Invited as honored guests, the centaurs sat in peace at first, but as wine flowed, instinct overcame reason. In drunken madness, they tried to seize the bride and other women at the feast. What followed was the Centauromachy, a bloody war between the Lapiths and the Centaurs. The ground shook with hooves and screams, weapons clashed, and blood stained the halls of celebration. Many centaurs were slain, the rest driven into exile. This tragedy echoed across Greek culture as a symbol that reason must forever master desire. And for the Centaurs, it was a wound in their history that could never be undone.
Yet, not all centaurs were consumed by chaos. Among them stood one of greatest renown, Chiron. Unlike his brethren, Chiron was born of Cronus and the nymph Philyra, making him immortal, noble, and wise. He dwelled upon Mount Pelion, far from the savagery of his kin, devoting his life to teaching. From his guidance arose the greatest heroes of Greece: Achilles, Jason, Asclepius, even Heracles himself. Chiron taught medicine, ethics, the art of war, and the philosophy of life. But destiny struck him cruelly. By accident, Heracles' poisoned arrow wounded him. Immortal, he could not die, yet his agony could not be healed. In selfless sacrifice, Chiron surrendered his immortality to free Prometheus. Thus, Chiron became not only a teacher, but a symbol of sacrifice and true wisdom.
The Centaurs' relationship with gods and men was complex. They were neither eternal enemies nor steadfast allies. To some, they were companions, teaching, guiding, and protecting mankind. To others, they were raiders, burning villages, ravaging fields, and leaving only chaos. The gods themselves regarded them with mixed judgment. Apollo honored Chiron's wisdom, while Dionysus reveled in drunken revelries with the wild centaurs. Forever, they stood at the threshold, not fully rejected, yet never wholly embraced. They were mirrors of humanity itself, part divine, part beast, never at peace with either.
Beyond the myths, the centaur held deeper meaning in Greek thought. They embodied the eternal conflict between reason and instinct, civilization and wilderness, mind and flesh. The horse half symbolized freedom, strength, and primal desire. The human half represented intellect, morality, and higher aspiration. Philosophers such as Plato and Aristotle saw them as allegories of the human soul, where reason must guide passion lest chaos consume the self. Thus, centaurs were never mere monsters of the forest. They were symbols of the inner struggle of man, reflections of the dual nature that dwells within us all. Though the age of the gods has passed, the shadow of the centaurs still endures. In art and literature, they appear as warnings or as emblems of freedom untamed. In the heavens, their name is given to celestial bodies wandering between planets, the centaurs of the stars. In the modern age, they live on in books, films, and legends, sometimes portrayed as guardians of the forests, sometimes as archers of unmatched skill, and sometimes as philosophers who bridge man and nature. Their endurance proves one truth: though born of sin and conflict, the centaurs remain forever relevant, for they embody humanity's eternal struggle. In the end, the centaurs belong to neither world. They cannot ascend to the heavens of the gods, yet they can never be merely beasts of the earth. They are keepers of the threshold, the embodiment of imperfection and beauty existing together. With each thunder of hooves, we hear the echo of the human soul, wrestling with desire, seeking wisdom, and searching for its rightful place between two extremes. As long as man struggles with himself, as long as reason and instinct remain in conflict, the legend of the centaur shall live on, eternal in the memory of civilization. Thus ends the tale of the centaurs, beings never fully man, never fully beast. They are reflections of ourselves, lessons carried across ages, and voices from myth that still whisper to us today. Thank you for walking with us through this legend. Continue to journey with us into the realms of gods, monsters, and forgotten histories. Only here at EPIC RELICS, where myth is not just a story, but a legacy of civilization.